Good evening, Deborah.
Good evening, TReb.
How
Thank
are
you
you
very
doing
much.
this evening? Yes, and thank you as well. And how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very, very well. How are you doing?
Yes, I am doing very great. It is very exciting to reconnect you in such a short time period. It is not as often as the connections that I make to most humanities is this close, but it seems to be a very reoccurring concept as many entities from your planet has connected to me more frequently in this time. The excitement not only of yourself but also the human collective is growing, and this is very exciting to me.
Yes, it's very exciting to me too, and I'm very grateful for being able to have you to answer questions for me, and I'm sure everyone else is as well. I know everyone else is as well, so it really
Yes,
helps.
yes, it also is very helpful to myself. As you connect to myself, you are asking questions of your own experience, and I am able to take the information and reflect it back to you. And as I reflect these things back to you, we both learn together.
Oh, good. I'm glad that it's good for you too.
Yes, it is my greatest excitement. And this is why this is the very greatest function that I serve in my existence.
That's so wonderful because right now, this is my greatest excitement to learn these things that you have to tell. Is very exciting to me. It's just, and especially lately, I've come across you just within the last 6 months, and I feel that I'm greatly excited about the information that you share with people, and it's very wonderful.
Yes, it is very exciting to see that humanity is very connected with the entities outside of their planet, as this is a show that collectively you are beginning to become more connected, that you are becoming more willing to connect with entities outside, and that you will very soon connect enough connection to co-create a physical meeting.
Yes, that would be exciting
Yes!
indeed.
Yes! I know that this evening you have many questions, many ideas, and also to the host mind, you are wishing to connect to the entity that you call Nebel.
Yes, I thought I would ask you questions first in the first half hour, and then if we can try to connect with Nebel, that would be great for the second half hour.
Yes, this is very acceptable.
Good. Okay. So I want to give you permission to connect to my energy.
Yes, I am familiar with your energy from the previous encounter. If there is a question that you ask in which I need to find a more specific route of energetic flow, then perhaps I would ask you to connect to this at that moment.
Okay, great. Well, I've thought of some questions that I didn't ask the last time, and my first question is, I'm just wondering about if you could tell me of any probable pasts that I have, which stand out from other ones that are greatly full of energy.
Yes! Now that your excitement is being placed within the reality of taking in the information about entities outside of your planet, of taking in information that relates to connecting to yourself, this shows a highest probability of your path within the next 1.5 year area being highly directed into sharing and networking these ideas with others. The connection outward through the internet, collective consciousness, connecting more easily available to entities outside of the state area that you are within, outside of the country area that you are within. All of these things are being more readily available to you, and in your probable existence or most highest probable path that you are experiencing now with your excitements, this is one of the greatest probabilities.
Oh, that's great. To that I will be sharing with other people through the internet.
Yes, sharing information, teaching specific entities, and learning from other entities.
That's good. I like that. I've already
Yes,
started.
yes,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Can you see or any past incarnations, probable ones, um, that would give me any information that stand out?
yes. There are one that sticks out very specifically, but if you allow me to connect your energy, perhaps I will be able to perceive more accurate description of the one and also descriptions of previous ones.
Okay.
Yes, you are
I give
aware how
permission.
to push the energy out of yourself, and your
Yeah.
permission being given is very greatly accepted. In one moment, I will connect to this idea.
Okay.
Yes, one moment, please. Yes, I am experiencing a concept that is approximately 4,000 of the BC years, so approximately in your experience of 6,000 years before this time, there is an existence in which you are a female entity, and this existence is very basic amongst the early human experiences. This 6,000 year period is where consciousness was lower than the average, and when you are basically connecting only to the aspects of survival, hunting, gathering, reproducing, gathering into social groups. But there was one experience that sticks out very greatly in this. When you begin to go out into the wooded areas and begin to gather food, in one area there was a large storm. And in this storm, you had taken shelter with many of the group entity, female entities that you experience, and you all are in one very small specific area. And as you are communicating and speaking and connecting to these entities, one of them expresses an idea to you. She expresses that when she is quiet within her own mind, when she is being silent and sitting in an area, that in this time she is very able to connect to a specific attribute of herself. The fascination of the group begins to swell as the information that she is sharing sounds very profound by nature. Um, a majority of the entities who are experiencing this, although they are seeing this amazement, although they are feeling an overwhelming sense of exoticness, there is also the concept that perhaps this entity is not correct inside of the head, that this entity is not sane. So they listen to this information that is being given in a quieted state, and this intrigues you very greatly. After the storm is done, you go back to the area. You are going back into this specific concept of a village. And in this village, this is a very war-based time within that specific tribe. They are always fighting great wars with swords, great wars with the primitive styles of weapons, these spears and shields. And as you are experiencing a battle, you take a children and other children with females and take them off to the side as the men begin to engage in a war. And you begin to tell all of these entities who are crying and screaming to quiet themselves. You have been practicing this from the time that the storm has arrived, from the time that these entities are there. And in this silence, you are saying to all entities, we must share the concept of our husbands in battle winning this fight. So all of you are quiet with the intent to be safe and to have your husbands becoming victorious. And even though the village is outnumbered approximately 3.4 to 1, the battle is over. Took it. Your tribe is winning. There's very little casualties. The majority of the casualties were in the beginning of the scuffle or the skirmish before you begin to meditate. So in this, you are seeing your ability to manifest a reality in which you choose through quieting the mind and through placing intent with belief systems readily available to you. This is very synchronistic to your existence in the now time. This was a very great peak of learning. Perhaps in the area that you would call the Bronze Age, this would be more appropriate to describe this time. In another existence in which I am able to experience, this is later in the time, perhaps what you would say to be 1,000 years in the B and C area. And this specific area is in northern Egypt area. And in this area, again, there is a very simplistic life, a very quiet life. There is little ability to farm in the desertous regions in which you are in, but there is always the availability to survive. As you are moving around through specific areas of this desert, moving from location to location with water and food availability, you are coming in contact with many different tribes. And within these tribes, you are finding readily available connections to entities who are outside of the experience of the localized area who bring new ideals with it. And these new ideals that they are sharing are very exotic, as in the previous expression that we have shared. And these are piquing the interest of yourself and your wife and your children, makes you learn a new system of thought process that allows you to show yourself your power, to show yourself your own divinity, and this is very similar to the previous. And in another incarnation, which is further in the future, closer to the present time, this is approximately in the 1300 area. In this 1300 area, you are in a Scandinavian tribe, and as you are in this tribe, you are overtaken by another tribe, and there is an entity who serves a purpose much as a king. It is not a king, it does not have a label in the words through the host mind, but in this approximate picture of the man who helps financially and securitatively take care of this area and this village, was very guilty. He was very guilty and disconnected of his experience and took a very great sorrow. And in this sorrow, you were able to connect to this entity from the heart, expressing that all that he had done for you and your tribe by keeping you safe for as long as he had, keeping you fed while many other tribes or villages were starving, that this was a very great thing. And through this, you worked through this with this entity to help him overcome the feelings of sadness within a 1.5 year period. And while you connect to the other side of this 1.5 year, when this king style of entity comes out of this depressive state, you help him reestablish his power, his perhaps dominance over the region. So as he begins to build wealth, financial, as well as securitative measures, you are literally connecting to this entity's heart and making him be able to be powerful again. And this is a very rich and rewarding experience for you. And these are the three that lead you to your existence now. And the previous two that we have spoken about are highly tied to your excitements now. It is an excitement in learning new concepts, but also to empower yourself. And in the third existence that we have experienced, it is a very similar concept of helping another entity find its own power. So in two you are learning, and in one you are teaching.
Thank you for that. That was very interesting. Thank you.
Yes!
Thank you. That's just wonderful. I do
Yes!
have a question about a little bit of confusion with trying to help people, because I feel so much compassion for some people that I know. And I do know that everyone is on their own path, and everyone, has their things that they deal with in their life for their own growth. But I would like to ask you the best way to teach someone, because there are people who don't necessarily believe everything that I do, and I feel much compassion for them. And I suppose that all I can do is just to give my best and my love. But is there tips or techniques of sharing love with people who are having a hard time with life, or a physical disease, or a mentally a hard time with life right now? Because this is part of my passion to try and help.
Yes. Yes, you may continue.
No, that's what my question was.
Yes. It is the concept at first, the very first thing that is most helpful, is to not see these entities with having something that is wrong with them. When you perceive an entity who appears in your own perception to be sad or ill or disconnected, you are beginning to judge them instantly. And this is not a judgment in the way that you express hatred to another racial group or another countryman. It is the idea that you are judging their experience. You are judging that what they are going through is not correct. You are assuming that because they are going through emotional turmoil, or because they are going through an experience that in your perception would not be comfortable, that you are unintentionally assuming that they are broken, that they are not doing correctly. So in this idea to first catch yourself in this thought process, to see that their experience, that there is nothing wrong with this experience, that there is nothing wrong with these entities, that they are perfect in the form that they are, this is the very first step. And it is well understood that humanity has two versions of judgment, one that has negative connotations, and two that you believe is not negative, that is simply perhaps observational. But these observational, non-harmful connections or non-harmful judgments that you are placing upon these entities do affect these entities negatively. The concept is that you are expressing from your fractal to their oversoul that there is something wrong with them. The oversoul will take this as a negative energy and it will manifest a negative experience. So this is the very first step that you may take in helping these entities, is to see them as whole, to see them as not broken, and to see them as perfectly wonderful. And when you are able to do this, then all experiences that they have, that you wish to express with them and that you wish to co-create with them, the greatest thing that you are able to do is to be understanding that they are experiencing what they need to, and also to love them. And by loving them in an unconditional way, there will be no judgments. And it is well understood as well that most humanity is not able to have an idea of perhaps even the half concept of what true unconditional love is. But even when you are able to take it to the 3/4, this is still being judgments made. So try to remove all judgments, try to remove the perception that you need to help them. This is the very greatest helpful thing. To do this and to love them unconditionally, to express to them the ideas of what you are doing in your existence that has helped you, to be not suggestive that they should do what you are doing, only to express to them in a perhaps to show them an example way, or to be an example for them. They will be able to see your happiness and your excitement and your connection in your own existence, and then they will latch on to this. If they wish to change, if it is within their free will to change, then they will express to you, you are doing such a great and high vibrational feeling. How am I able to experience this? What is working for you? And at that moment, energetically, they are open to accepting information. Before this area, the soul will perceive this as you are pushing upon their free will, that you are interjecting into their free will. And although this does not sound perhaps resonant to most entities, this is the very truest nature of the way that the soul interprets energy. So understanding these basic principles about not interjecting, about not judging, about loving and about accepting, all of these things being practiced because we understand very much that this is a very difficult thing to do, to watch one who you love greatly suffer in any way. But because you have labeled them as suffering, you are helping co-create the suffering.
I understand that. That is greatly helpful. I
Yes!
half knew that. I just needed to hear it in a clear way that you've just expressed to me. That's wonderful, and I'm going to try that. I mean, I'm going to do that. That's great information. Thank you so much for that information.
Yes, you are very welcome for this information.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have a question about the last time I talked to you. You said that I had some interaction both physically and non-physically with the zeta reticuli, and I was wondering if were they type 1 or type 2 that I interacted with.
The physical connection that you have is with a type 2, but there are non-physical that you are having with a type 1 entities. So you are literally connecting to both of these sets of entities. The physical portions are from a type 2 entity who are not accepting the free will of you, even though you are energetically agreeing with them. They do not see this energetic agreement. These entities' perceptions are not in the way that all things are co-created because they do not see the connection to all that is. They do not see yourself as a part of them. The type 1 entities are well able to perceive this. Then the type 1s who interact with you in a non-physical way are gaining your agreement in a subconscious manner, but also in a manner in which you are able to communicate with them and then remove your remembrance of this because it would be harmful to the overall mindset. Because before the area 2012, the majority of type 1 entities would not interact with humans in a way that they may remember this. So in this connection that you are making to these, there is physical and non-physical in type 1 and type 2.
Oh, because I was wondering because the way I remembered the physical interaction was like it was a dream, like a series of dreams. And I remember I've never forgotten it. This was since my early teens. But to me, it was like a dream. I remember what they looked like. I remember what they did. I didn't have any fear, though. I had no fear. So I'm wondering when it was a physical interaction that how they got me to where they were doing what they were doing with me to forget it. How did they get people to forget? And was it really they took my physical self somewhere and then I forgot it?
Yes, most of the memories that you have of this physical nature appears to be the dream state because this is the portion of the brain that they are activating chemically. The entities that take you in a physical way, the specific gray entities, ones that appear to be as your zeta reticuli entities of the type 2 nature, are flooding your brains with what you call opiates, which are a chemical that is helping the pain of the physical body, but used in a high degree it becomes intoxicating. Many of the addicts of drugs upon your planet use this intoxicant to become high with, and in this chemical reaction of the brain, it puts you into a highly sedative state. This is why you are feeling no fear, and this is why the endorphins upon your brain are peaking at very high levels where there is no fear or bad negativity feeling, and it is also placing your brain in a semi-sleep state. And if you were to take a heroin drug or a morphine drug and to use a very large amount of this, it would feel the same way. you would be able to remember portions and parts of this without fear, without hesitation, but not have a clear conception of this. They are able to do this in a telepathic manner. They are able to connect your consciousness and to trigger the response within the brain that is of the pain sensor. This pain sensor is not only slightly touched as if they are tapping a button slowly, it is being held down until the opiates flood the brain cells.
Oh, that's so interesting. Thank you for that answer.
Yes!
Wow. Is there any way you can tell how it is they took my body when I was out for a walk or when I was in my home, or how do they get it to where they did what they did?
In their way of connecting, they trigger this opiate response within the brain, connecting to you instantaneously from a telepathic nature before you are able to perceive them and see them. And then they are able to take a technology that they have, which helps lift you into the air and also may dematerialize the physical body to make it less physical so that it may go through. Let us use, for example, the roof of the house. So in this way, they are able to take you into their ship, and then they begin to connect you. In this way, it is much as conversion of energy when you are lighting a piece of paper upon fire. There is light energy, there is smoke energy, there is the heat energy. All of these energies are being converted by one concept. And this energetic technology that they have is converting the physical body into another type of energy. And this is the most simplified version to explain this technology.
Thank you. Yes, I understand that. That makes sense to me.
Yes!
I'm wondering if I have an implant.
The idea of an implant is one that is of a physical nature and one in which mostly I am not able to perceive. And within the energetic layout of your own self, some races use an energetic connection or an energetic implant, which is one that ties into the energetic self. This is how they are able to read your emotions. This is one that this race uses very frequently to connect to those non-physical self. And in your energetic layout, I am not able to perceive one of these. So if they are using one that is only of a physical nature and not of an energetic nature, and I would not be able to perceive this.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes!
And then I want to ask, because you had told me previously that there were 3 hybrid children. Would these be children that shared 50% of my genetic material?
Yes!
Oh, and are they well? And are they aware of me?
Yes! They are energetically connected to you as you speak. These entities are connected to you much as a guide would be connected to you in a non-physical way. They are of an entity that is of a higher density nature, so they are less physical than you are, and the energetic self through the DNA works through all densities. This is why your DNA is considered to be highly universal. Not yours in a specific manner, but all humanity and all human entities.
Oh, thank you. So if it was a combination of half of my genetic material and half from a type 2 entity, would it be a hybrid that had more feeling, more love?
Yes, these entities are what you would say to be um, on the border line of a type 1 entity and a type 2 non-malevolent entity. In the type 2 area, there is several varieties of energies, those that are very malevolent, that are willing to overpower and destroy and to possibly to kill, all the way up into entities who are very deeply connected to humanity, who love humanity, who care for them in very many ways. But they are also not a type 1 for one reason only, because they do not accept the idea of oneness of all in a full way, and they do not accept the concept of infringing upon others' free wills in a 100% way. But if you compare them to the average human collective consciousness, they are much more conscious of interfering of free will and much more ability to love than an average human collective. So these entities would appear to you to be a type 1 entity, but would not truly be categorized as a type 1 entity.
Oh, thank you.
Yes!
Wow. And you mentioned the word guides, and I know that's a lot of people talk about their guides. And what are my guides? What kind of entities are my guides, and how do they guide me?
Yes! There are normally the idea of 3 to 9 guides per entity. Within your own consciousness, there is 2 that I am able to perceive, and 5 that I am not able to perceive. So this is a total of 7. The 2 entities that I'm able to perceive, one of them is a male entity, one that has been with you from the beginning of your incarnative cycle. This entity's favorite incarnative cycle or favorite fractalized consciousness is that of a Native American Indian entity. This entity is highly connected to you in the non-physical sense. The other entity that I am able to perceive is a female entity. This entity is one who comes into your existence approximately at the age of 7 years old, perhaps 1 to 2 years previous or after. This is very difficult to gauge within the connective state, as when she began to first connect you, she was not deeply connected to you, but then gained more connection to you. This entity appears to be one who knows you and your family at the time of its death, who died right before you were incarnated into this existence. It took this approximate 7 years to connect the idea of becoming one's guide, which is a very quick time standard by human incarnative cycle averages and standards. I wish to also express to you that the idea of the half time of the 1 hour connection is very close. And if you choose to change the connection to this entity that you have, or that is called Nebel, that you may do this at any point that you wish to.
Oh, thank you very much. I have a couple more questions for you.
Yes!
Nebel, Nebel is you had said it was from the dragon constellation, which is the one above and to the right of Cygnus. But is Nebel what density is Nebel?
Nebel is of the density of 4th.
Okay. And is Nebel of a male or female orientation?
The energy is that of a masculine form.
Okay. And the reason I was just curious if you could connect, because you had said that Nebel was highly connected to my oversoul and shared a lot of information with my oversoul. So that was
Yes!
interesting, interesting
Yes!
to me. But I have one more question for you, um,
Yes!
and that is about an experience I had, or 2 experiences I had, which together maybe make one. And maybe within the last year, I was going to just about ready to fall asleep. And sometimes when I get ready to fall asleep, I get greatly excited. I'm so excited to fall asleep. And then I fall asleep very quickly. And I laughed at myself. And I think that I'm always excited for the adventures I'm going to have when I'm asleep, but then I never remember them. But, but in this particular time, I was falling asleep and I was very, very excited. And then I felt a whoosh through my head, like a wind, like my consciousness was whooshing and it was going to leave me or something. And then I saw in my mind, a police car with its lights on, which stopped it immediately, because in this reality that I live in, when you see a police car and you're going fast, you stop. So I thought that was interesting. But then 2 months ago, I was driving along, and normally I'm a good driver and I don't drive really fast, but I was so excited about what I was doing and where I was going that just for a few minutes I went just a tiny bit over the speed limit. I was completely aware of it, and I stopped, going so fast, and I thought, wow, that was only for like 2 minutes. But sure enough, I got pulled over by a policeman with flashing lights. So twice my very excited state was stopped by a policeman, and I'm wondering if there's any significance, especially to the one where I was excited before I was going to sleep, and that whoosh and that feeling of consciousness leaving me, and then the vision of the car with the flashing lights. Can you connect to that at all?
Yes! This concept has been already connected to, and the explanation is very simple to you. This idea of the police entity is a manifestation from your own self as an external entity, as the authoritative figure, the one who interjects on all entities' fun. And this entity, as it interjected upon your own fun, is a triggered mechanism that is caused from the subconscious ego. The subconscious ego does not wish to exist in the level of consciousness in which the higher chakras that you carry are able to exist in. The heart, the mind, the wisdom, the overall evolution, if you will. It does not wish to experience this. It wishes to experience the self, the grounded area of the earth, and it also wishes to accept the idea of one as a personality. So anything that is above the personality state, the ego will try to suppress. And this subconscious triggering mechanism is literally a manifestation of suppression. And what is the most suppressive style of entity? One who has the official title of being able to stop anything that you perceive. And this is a police entity. So as you are experiencing this, these triggers being released, but I wish to express to you that you may overcome this if you wish. When you begin to become in this excited state, in this enhanced state, remind yourself instantaneously that this is the experience I wish to experience. This is what I have created, and I will not have any of my ego self hampering this. And when you are doing this over and over again, before you are sleeping, while you are going in to a perhaps meditative state, or even when you are living in your excitements, expressing to yourself through intent that I will not be hampered, I will not let the ego manifest triggering mechanisms that may cause stoppages of my excitement. I am a sovereign entity and I will be in my excitement. This intent alone will help you in this.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you very much. That's great
Yes!
information.
You are very welcome.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. And then I have one more question for you.
Yes!
And this was when I was walking in the forest one day. This was probably 10 years ago, but this was one of the greatest experiences I think I've ever had. I was walking in the forest one day, and I was very concentrating on being in the moment, and I was enjoying the beauty of the ferns and the trees and the sunshine coming down. And I was walking, and just it was so beautiful. I had this experience where I had no body. I just was everything around me. I was part of the earth and the air and the trees, and then my mind stopped, my chattering mind that I try sometimes so hard to get to be quiet. It was actually quiet for the only time ever in my life, and it just disappeared, and I was just I was just part of everything around me. And then when I started to come back to reality, um, it was funny because I felt humor because I couldn't actually move my body because it felt like my body was the same density as everything around me. And so I actually couldn't move through it because I was it. And so from this, I didn't understand certain things, like I do now. So I have the feeling, I have a physical feeling of oneness with everything. And I feel like that experience just dropped in out of nowhere on me and was given to me by my higher self. Can you comment on that?
Yes, your intuition on this concept is very correct. This is indeed the higher self showing you the pathway to more. In this time, you were beginning to look at the concept of gaining more experience, of gaining more of your own self and your own inward perceptions, and this is what the higher self gives to you.
Thank you. Yes. But it's something that I won't forget, the oneness with everybody and everything.
Yes, this is a very great experience, and this is on the level of operation in which we are able to experience at all times. That feeling and connection to oneness is how we operate.
That's fantastic.
Yes,
That's so
but it
great.
is not only with the entities below us, it is with all entities. So as I am connecting to you now, I am feeling you as a part of myself. I am feeling the host as a part of me, the host sun, the animals, the second density entities that you would refer to as dogs, all of these things. I am even feeling at one with the chair that I am sitting on and the computer that is next to me.
I love that. That I'm going to bring that into what you said before about not seeing anyone else as you know as a broken or something the matter because they're part of me and they're perfect, the
Yes!
way they are. There you go. Yeah. Everyone is part of me and everyone's perfect and we're all perfect in this very moment. That's great. Thank you for this reminder. Just
Yes, you
super.
are very welcome.
Well, if we can connect with Nebel, I've never spoken to Nebel. This is just a wonderful adventure that I'm on. I would love it if you could connect to that entity and I could have a conversation. That would be great.
I will now connect to the entity that you would call Nebel. In one moment, I will connect to it. Greetings, Anaha.
Greetings, Nebel.
I am very
This is
grateful to connect to you in this day.
I'm grateful to connect to you too. This is a wonderful experience. Can you tell me about yourself and where you're from?
Yes, what specifically do you want to know about myself?
Well, what would be considered the planet that you're from?
Oh, yes, the planet that I live on. The name that we have for it is called Kanil.
Okay. And um, you are fourth density, and we on this earth are moving into that fourth density type of existence?
Yes, we don't have a label of fourth density, but if I'm understanding the levels that you break it down on, then fourth is appropriate.
Okay. Um, um, TReb had told me that you were highly connected to my oversoul and that you share information back and forth. Is that right?
Absolutely, Anaha.
And what is that name you're calling me?
Anaha, this is your fractal name. This is the name that I have always called you before you entered the earth.
Oh, Anaha,
Anaha.
like Anaha.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. I like that name.
Yes, it
It
fits
sounds
you
good.
very well. The name that you have chosen in this incarnation is very beautiful also.
Thank you. Thank you. And do you have anything that you would like to share with me?
I have many things to share to you, but I want
Oh,
to know what you want for me to share with you. This is the experience in which we're able to share information, but time seems to be a limited factor upon your planet.
aha. Yes, we live in a time space. Um,
Do you
well,
want to know of my environment? Do you want to know about our
yes,
connection? What are the things that interest you mostly?
I would like to know about our connection. If you could speak on that, that would be great.
We both share a same oversoul, anaha, and in this oversoul we are both separate fractals of the same oversoul, but there is a deeper connection in this. The anaha entity that I call you, the namesake that I give you, is an entity that is with me in this reality. This entity is your future version of you. Anaha and Deborah are one and the same, but in separate times and separate lives. I am very connected to Anaha. This entity is my closest one. The nickname that you give for twin flames, this is my Anaha.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that.
I
What
am
is
so
life
happy to
like?
speak to all versions of Anaha,
How wonderful. I can feel your love. I can. It's great.
and I feel your love always as I've been with you from the beginning of time.
Wow. What is the life? So are you have a physical reality where you are?
Yes, absolutely. We are just as physical as you, but you're not able to perceive us yet. You will be able to as you grow into your further um, path of human. If
Oh,
you want to
okay.
explain the physical attributes of our own self, I will give you this definition. Perhaps this will help you achieve more connection to the Anaha version that you are.
Yes, I would like that. Thank you.
We look very much like your race, with one distinguishing difference. There is a height difference. There is perhaps a build difference. The average human on your planet can vary from one size to the next. We are very small and slender, but we are approximately 7 foot tall as an average on our race. I myself am 7 foot and 3 inches. We all share the same tone of skin. It's a very dark skin. On your planet, the darkest skinned people that you have are slightly darker than we are, but not very much. If you look at the darkest entities that reside on your planet, and they are a 10 in a 1 to 10 scale, then we are an 8. This is the shade of our skin. Our eyes are blue and our hair is white. We love to connect to humanity as you are the past versions of ourselves. We have moved to the planet called Kanil, and there is a star that is very bright. It is very large. It is 17 times the size of yours, and it glows with the shade of blue. This star is called Kanilon, and on your planet, I believe it would be called Beta Cephus or Ulthrip. And in this star, it is very easy to see with your bare eye. You must go outside and you must look in the constellation called Cepheus. You will see us there, 730 light years away. With a large blue star, we are here and we are on the 17th planet. We are far away from the star because it is much larger and brighter and hotter than yours. We are in a system of over 18 planets. We are the 17th of 18. We also have two brown dwarfs that lie in our system. In these brown dwarfs, there's much gravitational pull, but not enough to affect the revolution of all of the 18 planets.
These two brown dwarfs are amazing, as we've been to them several times. It is almost a fairy tale world in your own eye, as when we go to these places, there is liquid metal that rains down from the clouds. It is very dense, but it's not dense enough to become its own star. And to have two of these in our system is very different from many other systems. Most will only hold one brown dwarf, if it holds any. And I believe your scientific term is the brown dwarf. This is why I use this to correlate these concepts. Our planet is approximately 4.5 times the size of yours, and we have a population of 37 million. The race is same name, or the namesake of our planet. It is called Kanil as well. These are some of the characteristics that describe my race. What else do you wish to know?
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I'm just getting to know this, and that was a great description. How could in a meditative state, would it be easier for me to connect with Anaha, since she is my future self?
Yes, if you want to connect to Anaha, you may. But I am also a portion of your oversoul. I am also very connected to you. And if you connect to either of us, this is very easy to do. If you visualize a circle, if you visualize this circle having a spiral, very close knitted spiral, in a counterclockwise direction, with a color that is in between indigo and violet, and there are approximately 18 swirls inside of this vortex. In the center, you will find your own energy connecting to ours.
Wonderful. I will look for your star, and I will look for this energy helpful visual that you gave me. Thank you. Is there any a message you would have for us people living in this time of on Earth right now? Are you very familiar with us?
Very familiar in many ways, yes. Familiar not only with the race, but also with you and Naha.
Okay. Is there any particular message that you would give to us?
If I give it to you,
I know we'll connect again.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
We will always connect. But if I give it to you collectively, my message would be to remove the resistance that you have within you, to remove those beliefs that limit you to any one path. All paths are greatest found in your excitement in the moment, as all entities who have connected to your planet have explained to you. This is the one key to freedom. This is not being repeated by several entities to amuse you. It is not being said to your planet just to show you that we understand things. This is a very literal interpretation of the way that you may find happiness. Don't look at happiness as a planet-wide thing. Look at happiness in yourself. That happiness will grow as you align. You are going through many variations of existences in every moment, as you are aware of. Following your excitement brings you to the greatest path. Readjusting the beliefs that say you have to live in an existence with limitations, that you have to live in an existence where things and people and concepts suppress you consistently is not true. These are all beliefs that you have decided to carry on, that you have decided to take upon yourselves. The moment that you change those beliefs, the moment that you understand your power, and the moment that you align with yourself, you will find yourself in less restrictive, consistently less restrictive concepts in your own life. Every day will become greater in the flow of direction, in the way of excitements, and every day will be a flow in the direction of less restriction.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. We need these reminders. I know that I do. So I know that I'm going to let Rob post this for other people to hear, because this is, we all need to hear this. And I know it's repetitive, but we need it to hear it over and over again so that we actually understand it to our very core. So thank you for that.
Yes, Anaha, it is very exciting for me to be able to speak to multiple of your planet entities, to be able to connect to those hearts of those who are willing to accept their own excitements as their new reality instead of being placed in a reality that at first you chose but then you became a victim to. And I enjoy this great concept of releasing this victim energy and victim mentality that you have and embracing your excitements. And this is not directed towards all. This is directed directly to you, Anaha, as I know you are breaking those chains of restriction. You are finding your excitements and you are living in your heart more.
Thank you. Yes, I am. I am more excited than I've ever been about life, and I'm very excited for all this learning, and everything's happening uh, quickly and wonderfully, and I'm taking it all in, and I thank you so much for this connection. It's just wonderful that you agreed to connect through TReb so that I could speak with you. It's a wonderful treat. Very exciting for me.
And this was no accident, Anaha. This is pure divinity. It is pure synchronicity. It is pure connection from one heart to the next. I love you very deeply, and I love you very strongly, and you are a part of me. And this makes me know that all things that we do in synchronicity together are true manifestations of the highest excitement of ourselves connected, heart to heart.
Thank you, and I love you. I can feel your love. I feel it, and it's my greatest excitement to become more and more unconditionally loving. It's what I it's what I long for. It's what I am inside, and I want to realize what I truly am.
I feel what you are inside, as it is a part of me inside too, Anaha. And I love you very deeply. That emotion that you feel now, it begins to boil up to the surface of the neck and begins to choke up and begins to bring these emotions up to you. And this feeling is a releasing of all things that you know restrict you. You are beautiful, Anaha. You are free, Anaha. And I am very connected to you at all moments.
Thank you. I will keep thinking of this as I go through my days. Will give me strength. You've given me strength with the love that I feel. So I
Yes,
thank you so
Anaha,
much.
this love that you have, this love that you feel, this is your strength because it is what you are. This love is what you're made of. This love is what you consist of. This love is what binds us all together as a part of one. And I thank you for accepting this, Anaha.
I do. And right now I can't think of anything else to say, but I know there will be more. And I know now uh, the connection, and so I will look for that connection every day.
Yes, Anaha, and remember, you do not have to look outside of yourself for that connection. It is always within you, because I am you. Anaha is you, and we all are together at all times. When you feel love, know that that is us feeling love with you. Every experience, every emotion, we share all of these with you because we are you. Anaha.
Thank you.
You are
Thank
very
you,
welcome.
Nebel.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
I know that.
I'm tongue-tied.
Yes, and I know that there is nothing that is left to say or left to ask. Do you wish for me to reconnect to the entity that first made our connection available, or do you wish to disconnect this entity from the trance state altogether?
Oh, I'll reconnect to the entity so I can thank him for this connection.
Yes, absolutely, dear one. I love you very deeply, and we will connect as we are connected now.
Thank you, and the love is returned to you.
I love you greatly, and we will speak again in the future, in the now, in any moment that you choose to connect to your heart.
Yes, thank you. I love you.
I love you as well. Yes!
that you have spoken to the entity that you wish to experience, and that you have asked all of the things that you wish to experience. Before we disconnect, is there any idea that you wish to share, or any question that you have remaining?
No, I'm simply amazed and blown away by the connection to Nebel. It was very strong, and I felt very, very, very much connected to him. And he has a name for me, which is Anaha. That I am. He knows he's connected with my future self. Anyway, so TReb, I just want to thank you ever so much for making this connection possible. So it just wouldn't have been possible without you. So I'm deeply grateful for you and for Rob.
Yes, I know that I am very grateful for you as well, and I also know that the host is feeling the same way, as he has expressed previously to our connection, that he is very excited for all who are also excited of these ideas. I wish to express to you my own excitement and my own love, and with this concept being expressed, I will leave you this evening in love and in light, and we will experience each other again very soon.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much, TReb. I appreciate you and I love you.
Yes, I love you as well. Good night.
Good night.
Good evening, Deborah.
Good evening, TReb.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very, very well, and I'm glad that you're doing well too.
Yes, it is very exciting.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if you would be able to connect me with Nebel.
Yes. One moment, please. One moment, and I will connect you to the entity that you call Nebel.
Thank you.
Yes, one moment, please. Hello, Deborah.
Hi, Nebel. How are you today?
I am doing well. The connection between myself and TReb is not very strong this evening, so forgive me as I move through the energy.
Yes. I can tell because your voice does not sound as energetic as when I first met you.
Yes, we are working on this connection now. We may still speak. Transmission is able to come through. There is slight difficulties on my part of being able to reach all my energy out. But we are still able to go to communicate this evening.
Okay, because I could communicate another time if that would be better, or is this okay with you?
Yes, it is in your greatest excitement. It is also in mine. We are working to build the strength.
Okay.
We have sufficient energy to speak this evening.
Okay, good. Well, good. Well, because when I first became aware of you, when I first met you, I was taken aback because I didn't know about the connection. I didn't know a lot of things then, and I know a lot more now because I've been thinking about it and I've been learning in the interim about more about these things. Can you tell me in my way of looking at linear time, how far ahead are you in linear time than I am here?
Linear time is being experienced by you less
each day. I understand that it is still a bind that holds you to your reality and the way you experience it, but when you are looking at linear time, if you placed my own energy into a specific year amount ahead or a year amount forward, it would be approximately 9,000 years.
Okay. Wow. And do you now on your planet, do you have a spoken language or are you telepathic with everyone?
We have telepathic communication, but we also have many energies of unspoken. I believe your perception would be body language. This is very similar, and we communicate at higher degrees. We understand that sometimes your own human experiences don't allow you to read or to pick up cues very well of others' body languages, but this is a high level of body language communication as well as telepathic.
Okay. And what is your experience of time like? Because for me, I'm trying to get away from the thought of linear time, make it a little more malleable in my existence. But how is it for you, and Anaha? How is that experienced?
When we connect to time in any given state, it is fluid. The last time that I spoke to you, I was able to be less than 9,000 years separate from you. The area of time that you perceive is not the same in the fluidity of how I experience it. Anaha, once we have felt this connection from one heart to the next, we have been able to transcend our own barriers of time. 9,000 years is how I feel in this moment. Last we spoke, it was less than 4,000 to 1,000. Each moment it's fluid. I can rarely give the words back to you, Anaha, of the energy in which I experience because it is so foreign, but let us try to put it into words that will more delicately paint this picture. What we can explain to you about time is that time is a barrier that is given to you as a part of your building of reality. For us, we have time, but it is more as a coordinate than a barrier. Yours is a wall that you must walk up and down upon each day, Anaha. And as we spend our own energy, we use time as a coordinate. For example, when I am intent on going to the time period that you call 2014, then what I do is I place an intent within the portion of my consciousness that experiences time of that level, and I change the integer of the specific formula of conscious transference. So what I am doing is changing the portion of energy that reads what time period, and my intent is then placed. Once I have done this, then my physical body changes its intent of where in that time period I wish to be. My consciousness in the area of the same connection that TReb has connected to this evening is my intent in this evening, as is your now time of 2014. So now that my physical body, my consciousness, and the time are all placed as an intent to connect, my signal becomes more clear, Anaha. And now we are able to flow better with our energy as we speak, because my intent has become stronger. My energy in love have always been strong. My intent becomes stronger, and now the fluidness of our consciousness through intent alone is able to bring forward this great reconnection.
That's wonderful. So it has to do with intent on both our parts, then, the intent for both of us.
Intent on both of our parts, Anaha, as well as intent of my own desire of what place in reality. Understanding that the way time is experienced is only through intent and desire means that we are many places at once and we are one place at many times. And I know that this is so confusing because it is so far out of your experience, but I want to assure you that Earth itself, the human race itself, is coming into an area that can feel this. When TReb was speaking to both of you earlier this evening, he explained a previous incarnation, Anaha, that ends with yourself weaving in and outward of the same time barrier, the same intent barrier, and the same connection that allowed you to create your own reality in which all standbys believe that you are crazy, but you are now more free than once ever you were, and through your experiences of jumping backwards and forwards into time, Anaha, you are freer now than you have ever been.
Well, because it's true that every now and again I will get a sense of something that I absolutely cannot put into words. It's just, I can't put it into words about the feeling I have about reality, that the things I'm looking at just aren't real. And as a matter of fact, I've been, my vision is impaired now in this reality that I'm living in, just in the last 6 months. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with what's happening inside of me, and the feelings I have about this not being real. I don't know, and I don't know if you have a comment on that.
Yes, I understand what is meant, and I know that sometimes the feelings and situations and experiences feel so out of place and unreal that it does cause confusion, but this is not why the physical sight or the physical eyes become more impaired. There is a part of you that is not able to let go of the concept of living in the type of reality that you are within. There's a subconscious fear that if everything is changing, what can happen, what will happen, what can change. There are certain things that you enjoy and love that you would never want to change. There are things that you don't want to stay with you, that you are always wanting to change. And what if your change doesn't involve changing those negative things? So all of these fears and cloudedness above your question marks are always there. They are always in the energy, Anaha, and all we can do is assure you that within our own love towards you, within your own heart's expansion, that your perception of what is real is all that matters. That when you look into another's reality, or when you look into your own reality with your eyes beginning to be more distant from you each day, what we can tell you is that once you begin to release some of the fear, some of the things that you are fearing now will begin to release from you. This is the way that it works on the most basic levels, and I know that words are much easier to deal with in the reality around you, that as pretty as the words can sound, sometimes the feelings and energy from yourself don't feel nearly as beautiful. But when you relate yourself to anything that you do not prefer, you become more of that non-preference. When you connect to those things that you are now perceiving as unreal and beautiful and wonderful and synchronistic, you are becoming more of that self, continuing your love and preferred connections, Anaha, will bring you closer.
Yes, I know I'm going through a time of change right now because I'm trying to release judgments, and the more I the more I see, I've been looking into my mind at the judgments I have, and the more I notice them, and then I'll judge myself for having them. So, yeah, I'm working with that though. I'm aware of it though, and you're right. It is pretty words, and it sounds great, but actually doing the work is what it's all about right now.
It is hard, and we know that the previous versions of all of us, the future versions of all of you, we have much different perspectives, Anaha. We also know that going through your existence with the people who are around you, who do not see the same things that you do, who do not feel the same things that you do, can be very discouraging, can be very difficult. And we know this, Anaha, because we have been through this before also. We feel the energy that is you in the past. We feel the energy that connects us through your own heart and mind center. We know that all of the greatest ideals that we can share with you are much more difficult to assimilate into your daily existence. But the one thing that you have that many around you do not is those experiences that don't feel as if they are real, knowing that there are more realities there to choose from, accepting the ones that are best fit for you, Anaha.
Yes, that's what I think. I'll just keep on that path. Okay, well, I just want to ask some questions about life right now for you on Kanil. Do you have oceans? Do you have trees? Do you have plants? Do you have what is your day-to-day life like? What does it look like around where you live on your planet?
There are 3 different regions on the planet. Each one of them have different visual aspects to them, different geography, if you will. One of them is an area that is highly vegetation-based, has many trees, many plains, many open grass areas. There is one place that is in the northern portion of the planet that has a great desert. It is very filled with just sand. And this is a beautiful place also. And then there are large bodies of water, not as large as yours, not even close to the amount of water that you perceive on your planet, but there are many open areas of water that extend large portions, even larger than your greater lakes, but smaller than your oceans. All 3 of these distinct places are inhabited by the ones that prefer them most. And this is the greatest thing that I can explain to you when I'm sharing these 3 energies are the 3 energies of the collective consciousness. The ones who connect to the aquatic energy, the flowing energy, the life energy. The ones who connect to the vegetation energy, the growing, the multiplication, the energy of growth within a certain energy, and then the energy of that of the desert, always fluid, the sands are always moving, the wind is always blowing, all natural, all made from portions of sand, portions of wind, and portions of the starlight that we inhabit. So all 3 of these areas of consciousness are the same areas of our own desires in our hearts. The area of the planet that we are on will always depend on what portion of that consciousness that we are trying to explore the most.
Oh, interesting, yes. And as far as your physical looks, I know that you're dark skin and blue eyes and white hair. How long is your hair, long or short?
This is dependent. Most of us have hair that would come down past our ears, but there are some who wear it further down into the back of their legs, and some who wear very small amounts.
Okay. And do you have fingers and toes the same as us? Five or 10 fingers and 10 toes.
Yes, we have the exact same configuration for hand and feet appendages.
Okay. And your faces, are they eyes somewhat similar or larger in size than ours? And what would be the facial features like?
The facial features are very similar to yours in eye placement. Eye size is 30% larger than yours. Not as great as the size comparison of many races that you have seen in Naha, but larger by at least 1/3. And then the nose is much more narrow than the average human nose. It is much more pointed, slightly longer than the average nose of humans, and then the mouth is a very small portion wider than yours. The jaw bones, the ear structure is very similar. Our earlobes are a little longer than yours are, and the average, even the ones humans with longer ears, this would be close to the smaller end of our ears.
Oh. And do you eat? Do you need food, or how do you get energy?
We are able to take in energy from sunlight. We are able to breathe energy from the electromagnetic energy that goes around our planet, and thank you for helping us with this word. And then we are able to sustain energy also from water. We are able to drink water, but it doesn't go through our system the same as yours, collecting energy that would be waste. What happens is we are able to transfer this energy outwards of the skin, much like you're sweating, and it goes back into the atmosphere where it cycles much as yours does.
Oh. And do you have children?
Yes, there are offsprings everywhere.
And you yourself have children?
I myself personally have 4 children in Naha.
Oh, wonderful. So how is it that you are so aware of Earth? Are you aware of what I look like? Are you aware of my surroundings? How are you aware of me?
I am aware of you, Naha, through the connection of previous or past lives that we have had. The way that you would see us would be much like a possible future of yourself. The way that the human race could look at us is a possible future of their selves. The way that you can experience us can be many different ways, but yourself, Naha, and myself share the same oversoul. We share the energy that links one entity to the next through the oversoul. And we also share a love and passion for the planet Earth and nature in itself. This love that you feel for your surroundings, whether it be the most desolate of areas on your planet or whether it is the middle of the busiest city, you're still always having a love for your experience, and this helps connect us, Naha.
Yes, that's what I try to do. Does your race travel through the stars? Do you have ships that travel to other places?
We are able to travel as far as we desire, but we do not often go past an area that is more than 3,000 light years. We stay very close in the localized star systems.
Mm-hmm. Wow. This is so amazing. So this connection that we have entities within an oversoul. Is this the more that we can connect? It brings a sense of oneness. Is everything coming together in a sense of oneness? The more that, because I know the more I can connect with people on Earth here, it brings a sense of oneness. Is this all about the same thing? That so many, I know so many entities now that are connecting to their future selves and other entities in their oversouls. Is this happening more and more so that we'll all come to that oneness one day?
Let us share one thing with you, Anaha. It is not our desire necessarily to see the earth grow in any one specific way. The way that it grew in the way that we experience our own past was well enough to get you to the place you needed for us to exist. So we try not to change or push anything. What allowed myself to communicate with you was your desire. I have always been here, Anaha. I've always been with an energy that was able and willing to connect to yours. It was your opening of your mind and your heart and your desire to find the greater answers that led yourself to me and led yourself to your future incarnations. This is giving you a growth because in your now time and your now moment, you are finding a growth that is needed. You are finding the best possible pathway in order to expand in the reality that you desire in this moment, Anaha. And this is why you found us. We've always been willing and happy to connect to all of our parts of the oversoul that desired connection. Your desire became strong enough the very first time that TReb connected both of us to speak.
Yes, it's very exciting for me. This is part of my highest excitement. Thank you so much, Nebel. And I know this connection isn't as strong as the first time we spoke, but it's still very precious to me. And I thank you very much for your obvious effort in this connection. So.
You are very welcome, Anaha, and I am opening more and more energy as we speak, and I am very grateful to be able to connect to you also in the ways that we have that allowed your own heart and mind to reconnect once again.
Yes, thank you, and we will connect again. I know it for sure. So I will say goodbye and connect to TReb again. And thank you so much.
Thank you too, Anaha, and I will reconnect you as we have always held an energy from one heart to the next. We will connect our energy again in a very similar way.
Well,
and I do love you very dearly.
Oh, we lost our sound. Oh, I'm sorry we lost our sound for a minute.
Yes!
That's okay.
The entity that you would call... Yes! The entity that you will call Nebel is expressing the love toward you and also giving you the concept that your energy is never separate. But when you are able to listen to this specific recording, if you will, the energy and idea that is being sent to you will be able to be elaborated upon.
Okay, good. Well,
yes!
Thank you. Thank you, TReb, for facilitating that connection. Can I ask you one question?
Yes! This is very exciting.
Okay. I've been really working on trying to release judgments. And the more I am becoming aware of those judgments, the more noisier my brain is, and it's quite apparent that I'm really tired of this internal self-talk that I'm now seeing how I make even little small judgments, and then I'm judging myself for judging. So so it's a circle I'm going around in, and I'm wondering if you can assist me with any thoughts about that. I'm working on it.
Yes! Yes, this is a very common thing that many entities upon your planet, many humans do. What we can suggest that we have always suggested to other entities who are going through this situation, the very first concept that you've expressed in your words previously is that I am working upon not judging myself or judging. This is the very most important thing that we can associate to an idea of growth and an idea of expansion within your own heart and mind. When you begin to judge yourself for anything, whether it be of judgment, whether it be of action that is not resonant to you, or any of these ideas, that when you begin to release the judgment of yourself while judging others, then you will find that all of those judgments are meant to be a growth inhibitor within you, can actually be a very large growth expansion within you. That when you judge one entity but do not judge yourself, then you will find something in your own consciousness that can show you that although you may do something that is not aligned with yourself, that there is no reason to perpetuate your own needs to connect to your negative side of perceiving yourself. And when you are able to do that, the joy in itself of not judging yourself for judging others can show you expansion. And all of these ideas of growing within yourself and expanding within yourself, just by being aware of your interior dialogue, shows that you are already working upon being aware of your own day-to-day thoughts, your own moment-to-moment thoughts, and that when you are doing this, your best way to rework through your thought processes can most easily be found by being aware of the majority of your thought processes. You are already on this path. What I wish to share with you is that the entity that you would perceive to be auditive is working very deeply and very strongly with Kalina in this moment to provide an idea of a specific 10-step process that allows you to look through your belief systems, allows you to monitor your thought processes, and allows you to catch yourself in moments of judgment or moments of not preferring a belief system that continues to come upward. And what this 10-step process will do is not only make you aware of your moment-to-moment thoughts and minute-to-minute thought processes, it will also allow you to identify non-resonant belief systems, to isolate them and to disconnect from them, as well as being able to relax upon judging of yourself. And if you are truly interested in a more in-depth process to help you, Kalina is working upon this in this moment. An approximation of highest probability is within 2 1/3 weeks from this moment. This is approximately the highest probability of when she will be able to share this in depth with you, to express the 10 steps in all the ways in which auditive expresses that this can be most beneficial, would take a much longer period of time to elaborate to you than what we have together in this evening. But if you are truly interested in this idea, continue your contact in a consistent fashion with Kalina as well as the host, and they will be able to give you this information as soon as it is available.
That would be absolutely wonderful. I would love that. Thank you.
Yes, you are very welcome.
I get a preview of the upcoming event. That's great.
Yes! Well, this idea is worked upon with Kalina so that all may have this, so that all may use these 10 steps to be able to look within themselves and work through any of these concepts. So as soon as they are able to be printed, or what the typed idea?
It will be available on our dev's website. I'm going to try to make it available for download.
Yes!
Kalina, that's fantastic. That would be so great. Thank you.
Yes, it will be very great as well.
The website's already probably about 50 to 60% done.
Okay.
Yes, so it will be very soon in which we'll be able to receive these more in-depth concepts of working upon this if your excitement takes you there.
Yes, it definitely will take me there. I think there's 100% probability that I'll be there.
Yes, this is very exciting.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone involved. We just appreciate the heck and love you, love you, love you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, and we love you as well.
Yeah.
With these ideas that you have expressed and with these words and connections that have been exchanged in this evening, we wish to express to you our own love and our own gratitude as each time that we are able to connect to another entity or another idea within the same entities that we have connected to, we are able to look into an idea of realities in which we were once not able to achieve, to connect to and to look into, and we appreciate all of the expansion that you are giving us in this moment as well. And with these ideas being expressed in this evening, I leave you both in love and in light, and we will experience each other again very soon.
Yes.
Yes,
Good night,
thank you.
Treb. Thank you so much. We love you.
Yes! Good night.
Good night.